The alien hospital ship floated quietly in orbit above a blue-green world. Its corridors were bright, clean, and filled with the humming of machines that healed wounds faster than any natural body could. Nurses and doctors from dozens of alien races walked through the long halls, attending to soldiers, explorers, and traders who came from across the galaxy. Among the staff was Nurse Lyra, a tall alien with pale skin that shimmered faintly under the lights. Her species had advanced medical knowledge and calm discipline. She had seen many patients in her years of work, fractured bones, damaged organs, even rare viruses from forgotten planets. But she had never treated a human before. That day, everything changed. The doors to the emergency ward opened and a stretcher floated inside. On it lay a human soldier, his body bruised, his uniform torn. Two medics explained quickly. He was pulled from a crash site. The ship exploded. He should not have survived. Lyra looked down at him. His chest rose and fell slowly. Despite the injuries, there was a stubborn energy in his expression. She remembered humans were known in galactic whispers as resilient, but she had dismissed it as rumor. Now she would see for herself. She guided the stretcher into a private room. Machines scanned his body, projecting images into the air. Broken ribs, bleeding, torn muscles, it looked grim. Lyra prepared the standard healing gel, a thick silver substance that closed wounds and restored damaged tissue within minutes. She applied it to his side. Something unexpected happened. Instead of calming, his body reacted fiercely. His pulse spiked, his temperature rose, and the machine sounded alarms. Lyra stepped back, shocked. "What is this reaction?" she asked aloud. The gel worked on every species she knew, but on the human it triggered something different, like his body was fighting the medicine itself. The soldier stirred, groaning. His eyes fluttered open, unfocused but determined. "Don't stop," he whispered. Lyra blinked. He was awake? No patient in such condition should have been conscious. She pressed a hand to his shoulder gently. "Stay still. Your body is unstable." But his body refused to obey ordinary rules. As minutes passed, instead of collapsing, his wounds began to close in their own way. His blood clotted faster than the machines predicted. His muscles tightened, repairing torn fibers. Even without the gel, something inside him was working at an unbelievable pace. Other nurses entered, curious about the alarms. They studied the readings. One whispered, "Impossible. His system is overcompensating. He should be in shock. Instead, he's adapting." Lyra's hands trembled slightly. She had seen many strong patients, but this was different. It was not only strength, it was defiance, as if his body itself refused to surrender. Hours passed. The soldier drifted in and out of consciousness. Each time his eyes opened, there was fire in them. When pain should have silenced him, he managed to whisper short words. "Mission not finished. Must survive." Those words stayed in Lyra's mind. Most patients begged for relief. This one declared survival as if it was an order his body had to follow. When the shift ended, Lyra stayed in the room, still studying him. The machine showed unstable readings, but the human's condition was improving in ways she could not explain. His wounds looked less severe. His pulse had calmed without medicine. She leaned closer, speaking softly though he was unconscious. "What are you, human? How can a fragile creature from a minor world resist death like this?" But even in sleep, the soldier's lips curved faintly, almost into a smile, as if he heard her question and was answering without words. For the first time in her long career, Nurse Lyra felt something she had never known in medicine, wonder mixed with fear. She realized the galaxy's rumors about humans might not be exaggerated after all. The next day would bring even greater surprises. When Nurse Lyra returned to the human's room the next morning, she expected to see machines still fighting to stabilize him. Instead, she froze at the doorway. The soldier was sitting up. His chest was still bandaged, his ribs still cracked, but he looked far stronger than any record had predicted. His eyes were alert, scanning the room. He seemed more curious than weak. Lyra stepped forward slowly. "You should not be awake yet," she said. He looked at her and gave a tired smile. "Humans, don't stay down for long." His voice was rough but steady. The other alien nurses who followed Lyra whispered in disbelief. One of them said, "A week's recovery. In one night." Another added, "His energy levels are climbing too fast. This defies our models." The human tried to swing his legs off the bed, but pain forced him back. Even so, he laughed softly, a sound strange in the sterile ward. Guess I'm not fully ready yet. Lyra felt torn between professional duty and personal curiosity. She placed her scanner near his chest. The readings were clear. His body had repaired nearly 40% of the injuries on its own. The healing gel had failed, but his own biology had created new pathways. His cells were multiplying faster, his blood vessels reconnecting with unusual speed. She looked at him directly. "What is your name?" He answered, "Captain Daniel Hayes, Earth Defense Fleet." The name meant little to the aliens present, but his tone carried pride. "Captain Hayes," Lyra said carefully, "your survival is beyond medical reason. What allows you to recover so quickly?" Daniel chuckled weakly. "It's simple, we adapt. That's what humans do. Pain tells us to grow stronger." The word struck Lyra. To her, pain was only an obstacle, something to erase with medicine. To him, pain was a signal, a teacher. Later that day, alien doctors came to study him. They surrounded his bed with scanners and whispered among themselves. One declared, "His immune system is rewriting itself. It's building defenses against our medicine as if it were an enemy." Another said, "His body treats survival as a mission. It is not passive like ours. It acts like a soldier too." The room fell quiet at those words. Lyra glanced at Daniel. His eyes were closed, but she could see his hands clenching as if holding invisible weapons. Even in sleep, his spirit did not surrender. That evening, when the others left, Lyra remained. She pulled a chair closer and spoke softly, more to herself than to him. "In all my years, I thought I understood life. We repair, we heal, we continue. But your body does not only heal. It resists. It transforms." Daniel opened one eye, surprising her. "You sound almost impressed?" Lyra straightened quickly, embarrassed. "I am curious." "Your kind is different," he smiled again. "Different is how we survive. The galaxy's bigger than us, stronger than us, but when something stronger comes, we don't hide. We learn. We change." His words unsettled her, yet also filled her with respect. In the following days, Daniel's recovery accelerated. By the end of the week, he could stand and walk slowly, though his ribs were still mending. Every step looked painful, yet he moved forward without complaint. Other alien patients watched him pass by and whispered in awe. "That human, he should be broken, but he walks." One younger alien soldier limped after him and asked, "How do you do it? How do you keep moving when it hurts?" Daniel placed a hand on the soldier's shoulder. "Because stopping hurts more. If you keep moving one step at a time, you're already winning." The soldier's eyes widened. Lyra, standing nearby, saw hope spread in the alien's face. She realized the human's strength was not only in his body, it was in his words. One night, Lyra was called urgently to Daniel's room. His monitors showed violent activity again. She rushed in and saw him gripping his side, sweat pouring down. His healing process had reached a dangerous stage. His body was growing new bone faster than the machines could track. The pain should have rendered him unconscious, but instead he bit down and endured. Lyra held his arm, trying to steady him. "Captain Hayes, your body is under stress. You must let us sedate you." Through clenched teeth, he refused. "No, if I sleep now, I lose control. I need to fight through it." His voice shook, but his will remained. Minutes stretched like hours. Then just as suddenly as it began, the storm ended. His breathing steadied, his heart slowed, and the monitors calmed. Lyra stared at him in disbelief. "You endured what no other patient could." "Why?" Daniel gave a weak grin. "Because that's what being human means. We keep going even when everything tells us to stop." For the first time, Lyra felt something stir inside her chest. It was not only respect but admiration. This fragile creature from a distant planet carried a force that no medicine could produce, a force born from spirit. The rumors whispered across the galaxy now felt true. Humans were not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most advanced, but they carried within them a flame that refused to die. As Lyra looked at Daniel, she realized this flame might change more than just his fate. It could change how the galaxy viewed humanity itself, and soon, the galaxy would be forced to see it. Days turned into weeks. Captain Daniel Hayes' recovery amazed the entire alien hospital. Reports of his progress spread from one ward to another, until even the most senior doctors came to observe him. They called him a living paradox. His biology defied all standard models. But what shocked them most was not only his healing, it was his will. Every time his body faltered, Daniel forced himself forward. Where others would beg for relief, he embraced the pain as proof of life. Nurse Lyra stayed closest to him. She recorded his progress, studied every detail, and asked endless questions. But as time passed, she realized she was no longer studying only a patient. She was learning from him. One evening, she entered his room to find him standing by the window staring at the stars. His ribs had healed, though faint scars remained. He still moved slowly, but his posture was strong. "You should be resting," she reminded him. Daniel glanced back with a grin. "Resting is for when the fight is done." She tilted her head. "And is your fight ever done?" His smile faded, replaced with quiet determination. "For humans, the fight is never done. Every day brings something stronger, something harder. We don't get to stop. We adapt, or we fall." His words stayed with her long after she left the room. The next day, alarms shook the hospital. The ship trembled under impact. Emergency lights flashed red. Voices filled the intercom. Enemy attack. Unknown raiders boarding the lower decks. Chaos spread through the wards. Patients panicked. Doctors rushed to secure equipment, and security forces ran toward the docking bays. Lyra rushed to Daniel's room. She expected him to be confused or frightened. Instead, she found him already strapping on the torn remnants of his uniform. His eyes burned with focus. "You cannot fight," she said sharply. "You are still recovering." Daniel tightened the straps. "Doesn't matter. I won't sit and wait while others bleed. Where I come from, you protect the person next to you no matter what." Before she could stop him, he moved into the hall. His steps were not perfect, but they carried weight. Other alien patients and staff froze when they saw him. Here was a man who should still be lying in bed, now moving toward danger. He passed the younger alien soldier he had spoken to earlier. The soldier's eyes widened. You're joining the defense?" Daniel placed a hand on his shoulder again. "Courage is not about waiting until you're ready. It's about standing up when you're needed." The words ignited something in the soldier. He straightened, limped less, and followed Daniel. Soon more patients and even some frightened staff began to rally. The battle reached the medical ward. Armed raiders stormed through, shouting in a language many could not understand. They expected weak resistance in a place of healing, but instead they found Daniel Hayes standing in the center of the hall. He had no weapon, only broken ribs and human stubbornness. But his voice carried like thunder. "You picked the wrong place." The raiders hesitated. Behind Daniel, alien patients, wounded but inspired, stood ready with whatever tools they could find. Some held crutches like spears. Others lifted trays or sharp instruments. Fear was still on their faces, but courage burned brighter. The first raider charged. Daniel met him head-on, catching the blow with his injured arm and driving his fist into the attacker's chest. Pain surged through him, but he refused to fall. He dragged the raider down and shouted, "Now!" The alien patients leapt forward, striking with desperate force. More raiders rushed in, but the defenders held the line. It was chaotic, clumsy, and brutal. Yet for every step the raiders gained, Daniel forced them back with sheer defiance. Lyra watched in disbelief. Her patient, who should still be fragile, fought like a storm. Every time he staggered, he rose again. Every time his body cried out, his will answered louder. At last, reinforcements from the ship's security arrived. Seeing the defenders already holding ground, they pressed forward with renewed strength. The raiders, shocked by such resistance, retreated back to their ships. The alarm finally fell silent. When it was over, the ward was damaged, but alive. Alien patients cheered, raising their voices in unity. Daniel leaned against a wall, blood on his knuckles, chest heaving. Lyra rushed to him. "You fool," she said sharply, though her voice shook. "You could have died again." He gave her that tired, unshakable smile. Better to die standing than live lying down. Her anger melted into something deeper. Respect, admiration, maybe even awe. She realized this was the essence of humanity. Not their strength, not their weapons, not their medicine. It was the refusal to break, even when logic demanded surrender. Later, the ship's commander called an emergency meeting. Reports of Daniel's actions spread quickly. The commander, a stern alien with years of service, looked at him with something rare in his eyes. Reverence. "You are unlike any patient we have seen," the commander said. "Your body heals with fury and your spirit inspires others." Perhaps the galaxy has underestimated your kind. Daniel only shrugged. We're just human. That's all we've ever been. But sometimes, that's enough. In the days that followed, the story of the human spread across the ship, then across nearby stations. They called him the patient who fought, and the soldier who would not yield. For Nurse Lyra, the lesson was personal. She had begun this journey as a healer, thinking she understood life. But through Daniel, she discovered something greater than medicine. She learned that survival was not only about repairing the body, it was about carrying a fire inside, a fire that refused to go out. One evening, as Daniel prepared for release, she stood with him by the docking bay. You have changed how I see your species, she admitted. At first I thought you fragile. Now I see you are something else entirely. Daniel nodded. Fragile, maybe. Breakable, yes. But we don't stay broken. That's the human way. As his transport ship carried him back toward duty, Lyra watched the stars beyond the window. For the first time, she felt hope that humanity's flame might light not only their own path, but the path of the galaxy.